All right, today we're going to dive into a story that poses one of the most difficult questions you can imagine. We're talking about Pearl S. Buck's classic, The Enemy, a story where a doctor's sacred oath clashes head-on with his duty as a patriot during World War II.
And this question, well, that's the whole story right there. Seriously, put yourself on that shore for a second. It's wartime. An enemy soldier, a guy your country has told you is your sworn enemy, washes up right at your feet and is dying. Everything you learned as a doctor tells you to save him, but your patriotism, your survival, tells you to just walk away. So what do? That is the impossible choice our main character is facing.
So let's meet Dr. Sadao Haki, a brilliant Japanese surgeon. And this slide, it just perfectly captures the war raging inside of him. On one side, you have his identity as a healer, sworn to not let a man die. And on the other, his identity as a patriot, declaring, all Americans are my enemy. The craziest part is, these aren't two different people talking. Both of those quotes come from Sadao. It shows a man who is literally split right down the middle. So how does this big, abstract dilemma become a very real, life-or-death situation? Well, it all begins on a foggy evening on the coast of Japan, where something mysterious is about to emerge from the waves right outside Dr. Sadao's house. So, as Sadao and his wife Hana are just watching from their porch, this figure literally stumbles out of the mist. He's been absolutely savaged by the waves and the rocks, and he collapses on the sand from a gunshot wound that's bleeding badly. I mean, he is near death. And as they get closer, one tiny detail is about to change everything for them. And bam! This is the moment the whole situation just explodes. On the man's battered old cap, they see the letters U.S. Navy. This isn't just some random wounded guy. He's an escaped American prisoner. He is, by definition, the enemy. And the penalty for helping him? It's death.
So now, with the enemy literally lying helpless on the sand, Sadao is completely and utterly trapped. Every single instinct he has as a doctor is screaming at him to save this man, while every instinct for survival is screaming to just turn around and walk away.
You know, Sadao's own words right here just get to the very heart of his problem. For him, it's not some abstract conflict. It boils down to one simple fact. The man is wounded. See, a healthy enemy? That's a problem for the police. But a man bleeding to death? Well, that's a problem for a surgeon. His training basically makes the choice for him. And so, he makes the choice. He defies his patriotism, he defies his own self-preservation, and he and Hana carry the man inside their home. And in this really powerful symbolic moment, he brings out his surgical kit, lays the American enemy on his own father's traditional tatami mats, and gets ready to perform an act of healing that could get him killed.
But here's the thing, saving the man doesn't solve the problem. In fact, it just creates a brand new one. Sadao's decision sends these shockwaves through his own house, turning his home into a place of fear and rebellion.
The first person to protest is the old gardener. For him, it's simple. The sea tried to kill this man, the gun tried to kill this man. It's fate, it's patriotism. To interfere with that is basically asking for revenge from nature itself. He's the voice of tradition and, unwavering national loyalty. And then there's Yumi, the children's governess. Her refusal comes from this mix of personal fear and, frankly, prejudice. When she's ordered to wash the prisoner before the surgery, she just flat out refuses. And this simple act of defiance has a huge consequence. It forces Hana to do it herself, which makes her a direct, willing accomplice in her husband's crime.
The tension just keeps building until, finally, it snaps. On the 7th day, the entire staff quits. Servants who have been with the family for decades just pack their bags and leave. So now, Sadao and Hana are totally alone with their kids, their secret, and the enemy sleeping under their roof.
Just when it seems like their secret has to be exposed, the official world comes knocking at their door. But it's not at all in the way they expect, and it brings a solution that is way darker than anything they could have imagined.
I mean, you can just feel the panic, right? Hana sees this uniformed messenger, and she can barely breathe. She's thinking, the servants must have talked. This is it. They're here to arrest us. The absolute worst has happened.
But no, it's this brilliant twist. The messenger isn't there to arrest Sadao, he's there to summon him. The old general, who completely relies on Sadao's surgical skill for his own survival, is having a medical emergency. So the very thing that makes Sadao a traitor, his skill in saving lives, is also the thing that makes him indispensable to the state. So when Sadao confesses everything to him, the general doesn't punish him. He's way too self-interested for that. He needs Sadao alive and well for his own health. Instead, he offers this just chillingly practical solution. He'll send his private assassins to kill the American quietly and get rid of the body. Problem solved, no questions asked.
So this leaves Sadao with one final, massive choice. He can accept the general's offer, a clean, state-sanctioned murder, and just wash his hands of the whole problem. Or he can defy the state one last time and take matters into his own hands.
The general's plan is just so cold, so efficient, it requires nothing from Sadao but inaction. Just leave a door unlocked. For 3 agonizing nights, Sadao waits, listening for the sound of assassins in the garden. But they never come. The general, completely wrapped up in his own problems, simply forgot.
Unable to stand it anymore, Sadao comes up with his own plan. And what's so fascinating is just how active and detailed it is. He doesn't just let the guy go. He equips him for survival. He gives him a boat, food, water, clothes, even a way to signal that he's safe. This isn't just getting rid of a problem. This is a final, deliberate act of saving a life.
So the prisoner escapes, the servants come back, and life seems to return to normal. The immediate danger is gone. But the story doesn't end there. The real conclusion, that happens inside Dr. Sadao's mind. Standing on his porch, Sato looks out at the sea, but he doesn't feel like a hero, not at all. Instead, his mind floods with all these memories of the prejudice he faced when he lived in America. He recalls the faces of the white people he knew, and he realizes that even the face of the man he just saved was, in his heart, white and repulsive.
And this is the story's brilliant, unsettling final punch. He saved a man he didn't even like, a man who represented a people he felt had wronged him. He didn't do it out of friendship or sympathy or some lack of patriotism. He acted from this deeper, almost involuntary impulse, a duty to our shared humanity that just overrode everything else. And so the story leaves us with this question, turning it back on us. In a world that gives us so many reasons to hate, why is it sometimes so hard to kill?